some stuff and some updates and whatever, so we'll jump right in if everybody's all good with that.
Yes.
So, what do we want to talk about first, the composting plan? Because Donnie, did you have anything to update us on first? Why don't we go that route first?
All right, well, if you wanted, school system contacts, I've contacted both of the schools to get the individual that we will work with, excuse me, all contact information so that we can plan our Earth Day and Arbor Day activities, and the schools are very enthusiastic. Excuse me, so that's my update on the ABCD on their focus.
Well, then under the focus for the composting action plan, we talked about talked to Jim, one of the guy he's not the solid waste coordinator, but he's the one that's in charge of doing the composting for the town of Skowhegan, and asked about joining the program or being able to have that opportunity to join the program, and he thought it was a great thing for us to look at. He said one of the things that you're going to have to look at too is the scope of our DEP licensing.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that's been a really big push is for food. And I know Councilor Donahue had mentioned, we put 67% of what we throw in the garbage is food. We need to get that out. Some of the things he said to consider. First of all, I looked into buying a can from Granite Mountain. To buy a can that would be a 30-yard container that we could put on our roll that would have an impervious liner, which is mandated for licensing if we were going to do it, is around $8,000. So that would be an initial startup cost from that. It would be $8,000 for the can. The second is that we have to look at getting permitted to set that can at our site. Because we're already licensed by DEP, we have a footprint, we have certain things, so I'll have to look at DEP for the siting. And if we can't, if they will not site it there, alternate sites to be able to do that. So, and that may mean if we put in a request and they do accept it, this is where the problem comes with this. If they do say that we can have it there, but we'll site it there, we will have to do a new site plan. So we'd have to hire somebody like CBS and redo a site plan that could potentially cost anywhere between $3,000 and $5,000. Sean Thies, he works for CBS. He's one of their engineers. He's really good.
Cool.
He said that obviously they've done stuff for us in the past.
They have our information in there
on
for
disk.
electronic on disk.
And they got everything. So they said it could be something a little bit
It's the
simpler.
future.
Yeah, they said, so you guys you guys ahead of the game. Most facilities don't have it. So we have this, and I don't think it will be as difficult as what you think. It's probably, again, a little bit of man hours and stuff. And just obviously we're not cheap for $150 an hour, but it's not going to take us.
Yeah.
It's not going to take us 6 months to do the site plan. You already got. So we'll just figure out within your siting where we can put it, and we'll recad the facility.
Where are you still down by the transfer station?
Yeah.
Would be in that property?
Yeah.
Yes.
The other thing that I had thrown out there to him too was there is no, he had stated a thing in the solid waste rules 400 that said that we don't necessarily have to site it at a licensed facility. We can have it cited somewhere else if we choose, and it's a $25 permit to do it somewhere else. So he said that's something to think about too if you've got any other town land and stuff. But also talking with Jim from Skowhegan said that one of the problems that we're going to have with doing food is maintaining the vector rule in solid waste, which is the flies,
the vermin,
the skunks, the
intruders,
raccoons, the rats, whatever else may go. And he said,
bring in the owls. We'll take care of the
you'll have to close the door on a nightly thing. Then when the smell becomes a problem.
So how would this work? What would it look like? Because I would think you'd have to have it where somebody was located, because you don't want people to go in there and throw stuff around.
And that's the other thing that he said that they've had problems with this Agra Energy that's up in Corinth.
Yeah.
They spent like $4.5 million on what they call a food depackaging machine.
Depackaging.
Yeah, depackaging. Hannaford's actually use them across the state, so they don't have to they got salad, they don't have the plastic container and put it into their bins. And he said that's why they have. What did he tell me? It was $52 a week per user, $52 per week per user for one pickup for a 2 cubic yard dumpster. So that would be like site specific for like a school or for a business MCI, maybe the cafeteria. And that's why they get the fee. First of all, they offer the service, they give them the dumpster that's airtight, so it doesn't smell. Number 2 is they do a weekly pickup with it. And number 3 is they have stuff that's still like meat and all of that stuff that's still being packaged.
Yeah, that's right.
When they dump it up there, it goes through a machine that takes all the plastics and everything out, so they can use it. It's a viable.
And you wouldn't, meat would not be included in this, correct?
That's correct, right.
Yeah.
No, and again, that's why we
It's
have to
composting,
have
yeah.
somebody there to actually
To
police
see
this
that,
when it's
yeah.
being used. And he said, right now, the cost to Skowhegan, they're one of the lowest municipal cost per ton to process the compost. And they're running right now around $100 a ton. So it's $40 more to compost than it is to throw it in the garbage.
It's always this way in the beginning,
Yeah.
Right.
before everybody does.
$40, huh?
$40 a ton. But again, when you figure, now he's taking into consideration, they have one guy who's getting paid $42,000 a year plus benefits that's running the program. They've got a $250,000 loader. They've got a $80,000 trommel screen where they have to screen everything. So it's
Okay.
quite a process.
So they're using a price per hour for
Correct.
service, either
Right.
for the loan.
And on the other end, right now, they are actually one of the best, the state just gave them an award for the best grade compost to the town of Skowhegan. And they're actually selling it, I can't remember, he said $4, I think he said, for a 50-pound bag, maybe.
Wow.
So they are now, they've got a saleable,
That's fabulous.
compost, so they're really excited about that. So you said, you figure per 50-pound bag, he said, you know, there's 20 of those, so you add that, $4 times 20 is $80. So we're getting close to
And you
making
get
it,
it, right.
making it viable because
Yeah.
we're saving it out of the
And
garbage.
it's
plus we're
only
making it.
gonna continue.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah.
I
So-
have taken 2 trips to Hawk Ridge and seen their facility over there.
Yeah,
That is
that's what
just
we need
unreal.
to do, is
We
get out and see
did
these places.
A couple of places, and they do a really good job. But we need to worry about the vectors is the biggest thing, and we
Yeah.
need to make sure that if we've got this cited, to make sure we've got it cited, that it doesn't become a nuisance either to the transfer station and its footprint, or if we set it somewhere else, that it doesn't become a nuisance. We said before, maybe across the street, but somebody would have to be able to monitor.
You'd have to be there, that's the problem, because people will dump anything in there.
That's just like
Considering
they
what
do it
they
at the
do now,
transfer station, you
yeah.
turn your back. I mean, I
I think-
just left here and Bernard was at the transfer station and he just flipped out on me. He said, that guy did 2 pieces. I said, Bernard, I'm bailing news. We just threw 2 pieces of cardboard. That was clean. There's no reason. I said, listen, we don't have enough people to be everywhere at once.
Yeah, you gotta
I
pick
said,
your
no, I
battles.
said,
You
no,
gotta
I
pick your
understand.
battles.
And I said, I will tell you,
Yeah.
we do have a recycling ordinance. I said, and we have used it, and I've been told that the police department won't enforce it, it's civil. I said, we got a district attorney over there that said that he's not gonna clog up his court system
Yeah,
because
I
somebody
remember
threw a
that.
piece of cardboard or paper in the trash, get over it. The court system's clogged up, so he's gonna throw it out, everything that come over. So deal with it. Be nice to the people and ask them to do it. And that's what I told Bert, we do.
So
I said,
if-
eventually people throw stuff in there, but you can't make them. But if the thing's closed and they pull out and we're right there, we'll grab it and pull it out and take it.
So what would happen is you would enforce it, not for a piece of paper, but somebody comes up with a Xerox box of paper and dumps it in there, or dumps in 50 pieces of lumber, you know, and then says, no, I'm not taking it out
Yeah.
in other language, and
Yeah,
then it'd be out.
and the other ones that are avid that they're not gonna recycle. And I told Bernard, and I said, now, I'll tell you right now, and you know him, one of them is your neighbor. I said, so, he throws all of his garbage in boxes. So, he knows that we're not gonna dump out cat litter and poop and everything else and take them in and try to handle it in the building. He uses them for trash instead of using a bag. So he throws all his garbage in
It's
little
so
boxes.
easy to use those plastic bags, you know, you don't have to buy them.
Yeah.
People are funny, I'll tell you, they really
And that
are.
ban is in effect, correct? That started.
Yeah.
And you know,
last-
the weirdest thing is,
Not here,
State of Maine passed it. It's
but
supposed to.
it's not in effect yet.
Oh, I thought it was.
It is.
Waterville has it in effect,
The state
Oh.
passed it.
but I think
plastic
it's
bags?
next year.
Yes.
April 1st.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
Right,
statewide.
right.
Yeah, it's not-
They're grandfathered. Anybody can still use them up until the April 1st.
Now,
and
that
they
would
still
be
have them.
garbage bags as well, correct? trash bags?
No,
oh,
it's just the bags at the stores.
transfer.
Obviously, they realize that trash bags,
Yeah.
we do.
That's right, we're in 2020, so
Yeah.
it's not next year.
Yeah,
It's
no,
on.
it is, yeah.
I'll be writing the right date.
So we gotta figure out, the biggest thing is we gotta figure out a way that can be watched without being so cost effective to.
And
It's
then-
gotta be at the transfer station.
And then we gotta also implement a way for those, because again, he said the process that they had a problem with when they started theirs, because a lot of their community, they do very little food, but they do a lot of the grass
Yeah.
and leaves, which we
Yeah,
take
okay.
a ton.
Yeah.
And, he says, you know, we get some sawdust every once in a while. He says,
Oh, we
the
can
biggest
get that.
makeup is really not food. The biggest makeup that we get that's anything that's food related is they now take lobster shells from
Oh,
Central things, shellfish or whatever. They take lobster, seaweed,
okay,
Yeah,
seaweed
okay.
is huge,
Right.
seaweed is big.
and they mix it in the process. It breaks down quicker. He said it doesn't make up a huge piece, but he said the ones that do, the first thing that you're gonna have to understand is now, if you want them to do it, that you need to supply them a container to do so, like we do with recycling. Something that's leak proof, it's got a
Oh,
lid.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, or you could recommend, he said they could go buy a Tupperware, Rubbermaid one over to Walmart. But again, then people wanting to store old food in their shed.
So could we start out just with the businesses and the large nonprofits that have cafeterias and
I think
not
that's-
do the people?
This is one of those things, Catherine, too, that maybe, I know in other communities, and I did do my research on this, other communities, and I hate to say this because it's almost like we're regulating people to the point where people are getting upset, well, geez, that's all they do is want to overreach.
Yeah,
But,
yep,
if
here
we-
comes
if-
government again, but
yeah,
people don't
if
have
they
the
had
brains
a-
to do it.
We could actually, because there are models out there, we could actually pass an ordinance that mandates that we will not take food waste from any large generators.
Yeah.
And that they would have, and give them the option, because again, it doesn't say in the law we have to pay for it, it says we have to give them a way to be able to get rid of their refuse, whatever it may be.
So we find them a couple of options and they go off and partake of those options, because
Right.
if you could find an option that is equal to or less than the cost if they had a company haul the trash away, and they're good neighbors, they would do it.
And they do, because they are finding out a lot of people were throwing a lot of stuff away. Now you've got some that are, I'll call them new people that are coming into our program that go, wow, that's a big deal. I was taking 4 dumpsters. One of them that's just recently we've got from Canaan is the Superette.
Okay,
Jim over
yeah.
the Superette had 1 dumpster. And it came from, he had Pine Tree do it, but it cost him $250 a week to get it dumped twice. He had to have it dumped
Wow.
twice.
That's how much, wow.
Plus the $100 for the dumpster per week rental. So now he's got 2 dumpsters. One is half the size, one's a bigger one. He's taking a trash dumpster once every 2 weeks, and he's taking a cardboard dumpster out once a week. So now he's lowered his cost by half than what he was doing by just throwing in the garbage. So he said, whoa, I didn't realize it was that big of a deal. I said, it is that big.
But this kid, that Greta Thunberg, who's what, Time Person of the
Yeah.
Year, whatever, this kid is going around the world, and one of the things that gets to me is that, like, this committee should be 100 people strong. There should be people in here constantly
Advocate.
making this work. If they're complaining,
And
you know
and
what?
we've proven that, one of the biggest costs in a municipality is maintaining roads and solid waste.
Yes, those are the 2 biggest, well,
And-
police here.
Yeah, yes, but the solid waste, you
Yeah.
can
It's
directly
not gonna go
impact.
away. It's not gonna go to somebody else. It's
No.
up to us. And
Yeah.
like you said, if we're proactive instead of reactive,
Right.
and that's the thing, we've gotta get people,
And it's a different, like we just talked earlier, it's a different society. Everybody's in a hurry.
well.
I've never
you know
seen
what? Oh, I
nothing
know.
like it up
I
at the
know,
transfer
that's
station. It
true.
creates fight, they'll back up, and they'll go to take a box in, and somebody will holler, can you tell them to move out of the way?
Yeah,
I
I
said,
know.
they've got 1 box, they throw it off to the side.
I
they're-
just park over and walk over.
I do-
That's
I do
it.
too.
In Massachusetts.
Tell them
More
to
so every
breathe.
day.
It does.
Breathe.
You go down there, I just visited my grandmother before she passed in Haverhill, Mass. last year. and,
Haverhill? Oh, yeah.
Oh my God,
Oh, it's-
people
yeah.
are just rude, I mean.
But you get on the highway, I mean, I'm doing, 65, and
95,
that's,
yeah.
oh, and they're flying by me. I mean, flying by me. It's like,
Well, you can't go to another state and smile at people because
Oh,
they
no.
think you're gonna try to get their pocketbook or something.
Exactly.
Oh, here we go, up to something.
Oh, yeah. It's,
You know, I'm
I
just
don't know
smiling away
where-
when I was in
yeah.
Boston, and then my brother said, stop that. And then I realized I should.
Yeah.
I
And
still
like I said, as far as
I'm
this-
smiling.
the food, if we can do something, maybe you can start with an ordinance for the large food generators. Because again, there's gonna be, and he said that's where your citizens will, because it started with our program here with
So
Scouting.
the
It took us
schools.
10 years.
Yeah.
But he says they'll start tearing it apart. Well, I'm not putting food in a thing and leave it out in my shed so I can have rats and animals get in it, flies and maggots, and then bring it up to you, and
Well,
it's too much
actually,
time. And,
yeah.
anybody's gonna be resistant to anything. You know, they're very resistant to change.
Well, and then the flip side of that is that what would you recommend we do? Because
I
it's
think
gonna
we
start to
with the
cost
big
us.
one.
Well, that's the big thing.
Well, that's where
When
our
you
big
get them-
tonnage is.
Yeah, yeah.
And they would be more cooperative because they wanna save money.
The recycling whole thing started because all of a sudden the cost went, phew.
Yeah.
And I think we really ought to focus again, and we did this maybe 8 years ago, Catherine, you and I, we were really hitting on the backyard composting. The benefits,
Oh,
the
yeah.
benefits of that.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah,
think we
we
still need
started
Tom
that.
Roberts to come in,
But
have
this
these
is the
put together a
perfect time,
presentation and
because
say,
it's
boom.
international now. It's
Right.
not just in Pittsfield. It's global.
Right.
It is global.
And have you bring us this is what I feel is a tonnage going into our trash. This is what we could save.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? This is how it would directly affect your tax rate.
This
Ah.
is
And
your
this would be-
video clip.
Right.
Which either, Jane doesn't wanna be on the committee, but she would do projects, and she
Yes.
did all those little, department and business interviews, which were very good. And if not, I did win at, whatever that device is, that you can put things on, and then put them on YouTube. I don't know what it was called, but, and we
And that
played
day,
around with
that
it, it's
maybe
worth
is
several
where you
hundred
can
dollars.
actually hit the young, because it is the younger people, it's the. this is
They're
so
saying
wasteful.
no more. They're saying, you know, they're gonna inherit this mess,
What
and
is the
yeah.
dry air in this room?
And it's, we've got to really,
But I think if we start with that, again, maybe doing that backyard composting and really start hitting
I'll
on that,
check
that could be a
on,
good
I'll
Earth
check on
Day.
that for Earth Day, yeah,
Mhm.
that we could
and maybe
sell
we
those
can use
again.
that dialogue that, you know, this is not just, I mean, this is global, obviously, and even, we all have to do our part.
Mhm.
We
Yeah,
all
I
have to do
didn't
our
hear back on the adult ed, but I think it's too late to do something for spring, it'd have to be a
In the
summer,
fall project.
summer or fall.
Yeah, they
and
usually
so-
get
Yeah,
work
and
on
then
this out.
by now it would be done, or
Mhm.
by December it would have been done. But the video clips, we can do ourselves,
Right,
and
and,
interview you, or we could even call the students at MCI and ask them to interview Donnie.
yeah,
Mhm.
for a
and ask them maybe
project.
to ask me some questions that
They have,
that they have about what,
see if they
what
can
bothers
stump you.
Well,
Well,
and
we see
again,
what-
but it piggybacks right on what Greta Thunberg's doing, because they're studying all of this in classes. I mean, they're looking at what's gonna happen next. You know, they're not waiting for the adults to do it.
Right.
So if we can
'Cause it won't get
piggyback
done.
onto that,
It won't get
you
done.
know, the young kids are saying, hey,
The
recycle
adults are
that.
too busy and tired.
I don't know, I just think it's long overdue. And you talk to people who live overseas, and they don't,
Oh, yeah.
they're amazed at how much we throw
I
away.
don't know if you've
Waste.
seen the national ad campaign about the food waste.
Well, I've
Have you ever
seen
the
some of
sec-
it.
You've seen that, Give It a Second Chance? Now that was a cool video.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That chef takes out stuff that the
That
grocery
they're gonna
stores are
throw
throwing
away.
on us, and
Oh,
makes
yeah.
this beautiful meal from it.
Unbelievable.
And
Well, how many people would go and turn up their nose at something that's marked down? I mean, I'll cut off a piece. I grow a tomato in my yard. I cut off a piece of it. Who cares? If it's marked down, it can still be used.
And you know what's really sad is, I talked to Larry Keough and his wife that live at Kathy right across here, and they run the food bank.
Mhm.
Every other week, he brings probably 500 or 600 pounds of produce that he throws away. Because it goes bad, because nobody wants it. Nobody
Right.
wants a fresh apple, nobody wants an orange.
No, they want it.
They want the candy bars, they want the stuff that's instant gratification with the sugar. Watch the same thing, you know, there's people that claim that they're less fortunate, they'll give out squash. I love butternut squash.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
95% of them will end up in the trash. That's not what they get the
Send them
box,
my
and
way.
3/4 of the stuff that's in there, they throw away. It's like,
It's stupid. Just stupid.
It is.
Because
There's no need of it. It's
because they can't cook. Some of them don't.
Oh,
have
no, well,
the
that's true too, but they can, but that's, again, that's something
They
they can
can
be
Google
taught.
it and figure out.
They can
how to
Google
do
it, they
that.
can, I mean,
They
you
all
know,
have a phone,
classes.
everybody's got.
That's another thing for the schools, that would be something for, I got a good relationship with Billy Carr down there, down there.
Oh, yeah, Bill
That'd be
Carr's
something
great.
that say, okay, this stuff right here is stuff that wasn't
Mhm.
eaten, or it's not the pretty food, let's make something up and let's do a presentation at
What about
the
the
free meals,
welcome table?
welcome table, and doing that, and say, look at this, and
Nobody's
everybody
gonna,
can
they're not
say,
gonna
"That's
ask
a
where it
cuisine."
came from,
No.
and even if it's food, there's
Oh my
nothing wrong.
goodness, you could whip up something from all of the pieces that aren't used from the meals, and then have that at the welcome table, then afterwards tell them about that.
Yeah,
That would be
absolutely.
miraculous.
And say, this, what you
Absolutely.
guys just ate was
Yeah.
1,000 pounds of
Of
stuff
food
that
that's
was
gonna be thrown
gonna
away.
be thrown away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we're perfectly good, it was just the
And we got
excess.
people, I mean, you see it all the time.
Well, and again, overseas, they don't have expiration dates on food overseas, and here,
Oh, they don't?
sometimes it's a suggested use
Oh,
by,
okay.
but most of the time they don't. And I remember, when I was working at the Sugarloaf, there was a gal that I used to work with, and if you put something into the little fridge, and it was there the next day, she would just automatically throw it out, because it's no good, and it's like, stop it, you know,
Yeah.
no.
It's-
Well,
Oh.
they got ads on TV about all these kids going hungry and all, the donate to
this
this program.
country.
In this country, and donate to
Exactly.
this program, well, we're
Right.
throwing away
Right.
millions of
I
tons
know.
of grain
Yeah.
every year.
Yeah,
So
it's
we
just-
need to take a stand here, and I think that the easiest way to do this is to find options for the big users. You've got the hospital
Oh,
cafeteria,
right. Mhm.
which is massive,
That's right.
you know. You've got the MCI, you've got
Also at the
MSAD
schools.
53,
Okay.
you got Buds, and then you've got some other facilities at the churches once in a while.
Yeah, A. Robinson, Richie's,
Yeah,
all of
all
those
those
places,
stores and all
yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff. And we find some options first before we contact them.
Right.
And see what's available, and then we talk to them all.
And see if we can get them to
After
buy
we give
into
them
the
awards,
program.
after we give
Yeah.
them awards.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah,
but
get
that's
them to buy
okay.
into the program. because-
But I mean, it's easy to say now that this is not just here. This isn't something that we've made up.
No,
This is gonna
a
happen,
real problem.
and it's gonna come back to
And if you
haunt
don't,
us.
and if you don't do it, you're gonna be paying.
Exactly.
Because somebody's gonna pay for it.
Exactly.
And that's a lot.
And that's what I would, and I know a lot of people don't like to use this, but if you hit them in the pocketbook, if you start to say, this is what we're gonna be paying for this, they're gonna snap up and say, oh, well, how do I sign up? What do I do?
They told me
That's
a
not
long time
possible.
ago when I started to run the Canaan program. They told me, they said, oh, yeah, this is gonna be awful. Well, the first thing I did is I said, we're gonna pass an ordinance, we're gonna have a demolition debris ban.
There you
What does
go.
that mean? I said, why should I pay more in taxes because my neighbor wants to tear down a garage and he doesn't want to pay taxes on it? He
Right.
owns it, I don't.
Right,
So why should I
exactly.
have to subsidize him to
Right.
do that? We went in, it was like, I can't even remember what it was 180 to 200, that's how big we went. You can contact whoever you want. There's 10 different haulers.
Yeah.
There's 10 different ways to get rid of it, and you can bargain shop and you can figure out which one you want. But why should everybody else have to pay for it?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And they said, oh, this is gonna be
Yeah.
a fight, and it wasn't close.
So basically, if we figured out some options, one or two options, well, the two would be great, but it may be one. We'll be dealing with under 20 individuals or companies rather than 4,000 people.
Right.
Right, yeah.
And start
To
with
start
small,
with,
and then
yeah.
we start the education portion again with the.
And backyard,
lawn-
yep,
lawn
yep.
program.
Yeah, eventually, the goal being eventually everybody's on board. But
And maybe,
as of right
would it
now,
be smart enough to come up with a date where everybody, we say we try this, and then by such and such
We
we
report
introduce
back.
another,
Yeah.
yeah,
Say,
yeah,
this is
yeah.
what we do.
So the backyard composters, I'll check on those and get us, so we buy some. Do you know how many you have left?
I
You have
have
some way up back. Maybe you 3, 5?
6. I
Six,
think
okay.
6 there.
I
One's
think
a
they-
demonstrator one.
Right, we'll probably keep a couple for demonstration.
I would think they'd be really popular right now, or making a comeback. I mean, with everything that's
Because
going on.
we overloaded them like
A lot of
so
people
many
don't like them
years.
because they're too small.
Yeah, well,
And I've
that's
heard
true,
that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
we could also do something to talk.
I mean,
I
that's
looked at
just
some
too
creative
awesome. We do a
ideas.
lot of composting.
I built my own.
Yeah, oh yeah, you can
I
use
built
them
my own.
pallets and.
That's what I did. I built mine in the corner with my
Well,
pallets.
for
and-
somebody like me, it was very
Perfect.
good, except you have to put your stakes in or the porcupine or
Or whatever else is
that was that came and took things and took it over. Right?
You're feeding the nature.
Yeah, and took off
They
and
will, they have
everything.
a nose, and they're just like anything else. They'll find the easy way. They're like human
Yep,
beings. The easiest way to
exactly.
get food
Yep.
without having to worry.
Little side note, I was gonna ask you, how did you,
I was gonna
did you
mention
have
that.
problems with, any problems with that at all?
Speaking of recycling, no, I called, the numbers that you gave me, basically it was the shelter up in Bangor, was it the men's shelter?
Yeah, well, it's men and women
It's
both,
the, yeah, it's just the shelter. And I talked to them, and then I talked to also another gal across town. Hold on, I've got the information. It was great, it was great. And then we went down to Pennywise, and I talked to Angel, and she was completely on board. And I said, there's no, she said, most of what we take to the dump is really gross. And I said, well, reconsider. And I said, what we need is anything that can, clothe somebody from an adult to a child, that's what we need. She put together a bunch of bags of shoes, boots, mittens, coats. We took a truckload. And it was really funny because when we got there, they had gotten a huge donation. So we took it to a church just up the street, and they were very grateful. And I said, can you let us know so that we're not just constantly bringing stuff up? I'm thinking if we did it 4 times a year, maybe, and I said to Angel, put stuff aside that's not selling, and we'll get it to some, people that are living under a bridge
They
in
just don't
February,
want clothes.
they don't care if it's got
No,
a stain
they
on
just
it.
want
They
clothes.
don't care if the boots don't match. They just need something warm.
Yes, yes.
So, yeah, it was great. Wendy Layton was the gal
Yeah.
at the shelter that I talked to, and then at the Infinity House, it was Samantha, and that was Wellspring with the Infinity House. And, and they're gonna call me back at some point, but I said, there's no.
Samantha, I believe, works part-time at the shelter as well, so.
Yeah.
That's the Samantha I'm thinking of.
And
And
if
Wendy
this
is very
a
good.
small little community that can bring something up there, it just shows.
And
that-
it'll get used.
Same
Oh,
like
yeah.
the one in Skowhegan.
Yeah.
I'll have to find a contact.
And
for that
if
one,
they
too.
don't, there's animal shelters that can use
Oh,
stuff.
sure, they can.
I
use
mean,
the
when my
stuff
aunt
that
passed
they-
away, I must have emptied an entire cabinet full of towels. I didn't know who to give them to, so I brought them up to the shelter.
They can use it.
Yeah.
No use them, They'll take old clothes and shred them up. I mean, the animals, yeah, we're so spoiled.
I know.
We are so
They are
spoiled.
spoiled.
Ugh. Oh my gosh.
So it went well, I'm glad.
Yes, it did. Yes, and thanks Tim for that, because that was a good. And from that, maybe other things. And Angel said the same thing. She said there are people that actually come into Pennywise that buy stuff for nothing, and then they go out and they sell it on eBay.
Yes,
Mhm.
they do.
And she said it's not. The point is that this is supposed to help people that really need it. So
Right.
she said she'll put some other things aside. I said, let me know if you've got too much. I will come over and I'll drive it to Bangor. I don't care. And we could maybe find 5 or 6 other people that might be able to do that
Absolutely.
Well,
once-
especially if somebody
once a year.
works there or something.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
all right.
just take a ride up and drop it off on the way up or whatever.
Yeah.
It's
you
not
know.
like people aren't dropping off things to us at the recycling
Right.
trailer from other towns. So
Right.
Yeah,
people
matter of fact, I
here can
call one
check it out.
today. Truck come in, I was in the building and Alan come in, he said, that trucker just left here. He said, I was gonna ask him for that sticker, but they took off too quick. And he said, they said they were gonna come back with another load. And they happened to come back in just before I come here. And I said, hey fellas, what's up? Nothing. I said, where's this coming from? What do you mean, where's it coming from? I said, well, I don't see a Pittsfield dump sticker. I said, where's it coming from? He said, well, it's coming from Unity. I said, what do you mean it's coming from Unity? He said, yeah, everybody on my street in Unity brings their trash here. I said, no, they don't. I said, you check stickers. He said, that's why I asked you. I didn't see a sticker. He said, oh no. He says, we're cleaning out a house. It's Hawthorne Way or something in Unity. He said, everybody on my street brings it over here. I said, they must be bringing it to Burnham because they're not bringing it here.
Oh,
He
that
said,
reminds me, yeah.
because it was Tuesday. He said, well, yeah, well. it's closed."
Unbelievable.
It is unbelievable.
He
How
said,
stupid
be-
it is.
Yeah.
and they got a fee system over there. That's why they're paying for
That's
that.
why
Oh, yeah,
So
so
they
now they're
had these
coming
big,
in.
they had these big contractor bags. I said, it doesn't go here. I said, you go back up the road. I said, I don't know if they've been bringing it, if they got an agreement with Burnham or somebody else, but they don't have an
But
agreement
see,
here.
they're
Are you serious?
charging them, and now they want to.
And then you know what he says to me? Well, I live on Nickel Street, so can I dump this?
Take it to
I
your house.
said, no, you already
Take it to
told.
Nickel Street.
That's what I told him. I said, you already told me it was from Unity. Come on, let you dump it. I don't think you live on Nickel
So
Street.
it's all
no.
just a game to get in here and save
Yeah.
money as a contractor.
Yeah, and one of the things is trying to, the dump stickers, they'll be here by March, but finding a way, well, I know we talked about doing a fee, but also finding a way, because there are people who own properties in
Yeah.
town,
Yeah.
and some of them are very good.
So what-
Chuck Ward lives in
Yeah.
Burnham, he's got 2 apartments, he takes care of his tenants' trash. I know a couple that own some property in town, just property, they don't have a house, nothing, they live in Detroit, and they come in and say, nope, somebody upstairs gave them a dump sticker, because they give it to the number to the property that
Yeah, we
they're
gotta
at.
stop to charge.
So I think a few years ago,
I think we
when
need
a
to
staff member changed, they started giving out the dump sticker, because I didn't know that they were doing that.
Well-
But we had the book that explains the paper, which is for their one-time,
Right.
to go clean out a building, you don't get a dump sticker, but they.
But they
Right.
do this, and it's
Yeah.
not the girls' fault, because they have addresses, they do have addresses. I look back and they've given them an address in Pittsfield, and
Yeah.
it's a viable address, but they don't live in town, they live in
Right.
another town.
That's why we're gonna have to, we used to check the valuation book.
Yeah.
See, we stopped doing this.
Well, I used to do the
This-
registrations at the
Yeah.
transfer station.
Yeah, yeah.
And then a cop had a fit and said that we legally,
Can't look at those.
we can't ask them for their registration, only law enforcement can. And then they had a big stink, so we couldn't ask for their registration. I said, how are you supposed to know?
They can ask you
somebody's-
for a license if you're paying by check for something, so.
I've actually had people come up and say, hey, I rent an apartment, I wanna get a dump sticker, and I said, I said, well, I don't have a tax bill or anything, but they do bring me in 2 or 3, they bring in their phone bill, their light bill, and say, see,
Yeah.
perfect, that's all I
And
want
then-
to do,
Yeah,
is
all
just
you just need to
verify
verify.
that you
So
are
we've
in
got
Pittsburgh.
we've got to lock down on this and go back to the way we used to do this, because we used to have them, we would pull it from our system and not just give them one when they said, I live at 112 Lancey Street.
Right.
We would verify that, so we're gonna have to do that again.
License plate on your car too.
Well, but we can't run them, you see, that's
Yeah,
illegal, that's just like
that's
asking them to
illegal.
pay for
DOT.
registration, because obviously they live in town, they're gonna register their vehicle here, but
DOT.
again, they're afraid that, I don't know what they think we're gonna do with the information, all we're doing
Alright.
is using it for verification.
All right, so I will talk with the staff, because we have new staff members who are very precise and very customer orientated. So they will want to do this correctly, along with the ones that have been here for years.
Right.
So we have new counter people, so we can get this straightened out.
And the other thing that I told my staff too is that I used to know everybody.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
used to know everybody. And you
Oh,
could
yeah.
ask Deanna, I told
Now
her,
it's
I don't know anybody anymore. I
No.
mean, I don't know anybody from this town.
Then more and more just keep coming in, and then we never
Do
see
you,
them again.
do you ever
There's more
get
coming.
people from out of town that say, look, I've got an apartment that's in Unity, but I don't like the haulers there and everything, can I pay you guys so
Yeah.
much to take it?
Oh, yeah, we have
I've
that.
had, matter of fact, I just had one
Can
last
you
week.
charge?
Yeah,
Can
Friday.
you catch them?
She
Can you
from
say?
Waterville. She comes from Waterville. I said, what do you mean? She said, well, they're charging me way too much here in Waterville. Can I
Well,
bring my
move
trash
to
to Pittsfield?
Pittsfield.
I said, no. I said, we couldn't do that. She said, I'd be willing to pay. I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
pay per pound, whatever it is. You got a good program, and that way I can recycle more over there too. And then you know who I found out it was? It was Marsha Witham. She used to live in town. She
Oh,
sold
she
her house.
did? Oh.
And she's living in Waterville now. Now she's like, I want to.
Well, the other thing-
She comes up here all the time to the Elks Lodge.
Yeah.
The other thing too that people don't realize, it's like the guy at the Ball Redemption Center. People go there from all these other towns because he's got good customer service.
Yes.
They like the people they're
They
dealing
do.
with.
That's right.
And they like them guys up there, and they're
Yeah.
friendly and they're decent.
They carry
And-
things in. for
And
you.
I've always said this in the past years. I mean, obviously, one of the things we'd like to do is get rid of this demo debris that we're dealing with here in town. Why should you be paying for your neighbor to tear his house down? and
Right.
Paying the $12,000 or $15,000. That's something that is definitely going to be
Yeah.
changing.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be opposed as long as we're proving that we're making money doing it. If somebody want to come in and pay $100 a ton to get rid of demo debris, as long as we can handle it, why wouldn't we? We could make
Before it's gone.
$40 a
Right.
ton. It's-
Sure.
It's a
But we've
profit.
got, yeah, we've got to charge.
We would
There's
need
got to
a
be
proper
something.
system.
Right.
So that I don't forget this, what is the system in Burnham now?
It's funny.
And I ask because they want to meet with us to talk
Wayne
about
Mitchell?
bringing everything to Pittsfield.
Wayne Mitchell called me a bunch of months ago. DEP has gone in and pretty much condemned their facility. Their building where they got the 2 MSW containers underneath, it's falling apart. This is a pretty good system. Bolstead picks up 85% of the town. They dump the trash there. They have a key to the front gate, so they can bring their trash trucks in at
Yeah.
midnight if they want. Then Bolster hooks onto the containers with his big roll-off truck and then hauls it back up to Perk and gets paid to do that too. And they said that, so they're thinking about just doing away with the facility. And a couple of options they looked at. One is he had called me and asked me, could we handle the trash from the 900 people that live in Burnham? I said, yes, there's no problem. We could handle the trash. Could you handle the recycling? Because we're not doing much now. I said, obviously we can handle the recycling too. He says, well, what would it cost? I said, well, first of all, I'd have to look at 5 years of data back on what you guys, because
And
right
it
now
should
they're
increase. I mean,
paying $90,000 for their just a disposal. I said, holy God, will you guys take? I said, but
it's not gonna come down though.
But no, the first thing I said is wait a minute. You figure that out, that's like 7 tons per person per year. I said, that's 10 times the state average.
Yeah.
I said, the problem is you're giving a trash hauler a key.
Yeah.
I said, I can't give Mike Bolster and Pine Tree a key to my gate. They're
Right.
gonna come out in the middle of the night and dump everything that they want
Right,
to dump,
right,
and
right.
it could be coming from everywhere.
Well, what happens is, there's no way that when.
Not saying
you
they're
get to-
doing that, but
No, no,
there's just
but
too
you-
many
yeah.
Well, when you
options.
get to the town line, you don't say, oh, wow, I gotta turn around and go back, because
Right.
you're losing all the money and time, so you're gonna put the rest in the truck.
So one of the options they looked at was paying based on their
Okay.
tonnage and what it cost us to truck it over, because obviously we're doing our compactors to have,
But
and it's
you
not
still
for
have to
trash
charge
trucks, it would
more.
only be for residents, it'd be the same way, they'd
Yeah.
have a sticker.
Yeah.
And same thing, what would it cost per year based on, I said, you have to give me some data, and I said, it's gonna be on the high side.
And I was gonna
Or-
say, it should be on the high
It
side,
will
but
be,
it would
and they-
still
and
be
they-
at a bargain
it'd still be
compared
a
to what
bargain,
they're
yeah.
doing.
Because-
Because you have to up it, because it's
Because
only
what
gonna
they're
go
gonna do is
increase.
whatever Bolster picks up, they're gonna do what we're doing, except for they're gonna
Yeah.
say, that's your
Yeah.
customer, you pick it up, whatever it costs you to pick it up, make sure you have enough money to get rid of it at the landfill, because we're not paying for it anymore. And
Wow.
the second option, the other option that they're looking at, which also makes sense, is doing, I said, it's either that, if you close that down, instead of going to a contracted curbside, and either, he said, the problem is competition, Bolster's probably gonna be cheaper because he's closer. I said, you don't know that.
You know, we just. put
I
it
said
up
Pine
together.
Tree, there's Gregory's, there's CMD,
Yeah.
there's plenty of competition out there. But you may find that you can get it picked up side the road once a week, a lot cheaper
It
than you
might
can
be.
do operating it right now.
Right.
But those are your two
Right.
options, and I said, I'd be willing to sit down, but we've done this before. Remember, we did this like 6 or 7 years ago. They went to town meeting,
Oh, yeah.
and Bolster was there, and they voted it down to use our facility, because we offered to let them do recycling for a thing, and you're gonna buy their new roll-off truck, that's why they're gonna let you come in there, and you're gonna buy them a $200,000 truck, and then they can mandate what you can do and what you can't do, and they're gonna put rules on you.
All right, so I didn't know all the details, but I know
Yeah.
that there was, you know, it got out of hand with misinformation.
It did, and that's the whole thing, and one of the things they're doing here, they only got, really, right now, they've got 2 options. It's either curbside, pick it all up by contract, or sign on with another facility that's
Yeah,
able to
someplace.
accept their solid waste.
So I wouldn't want to do anything until we get our situation with all these other people coming in under control, so that we got only Pittsfield people coming
Correct.
in. Yeah, we have to straighten that out
Mm,
first. So people wandering in from other towns who live here but have a business someplace else, who's bringing everything
just like
here,
that.
has to be stopped.
Just like one of the, I just had his name in the top of my tongue, the town manager over to Heartland.
Oh, yeah, Chris.
Yes, Chris Littlefield.
Okay.
Having trouble getting rid of the refrigerators, they pump them out, nobody wanna do nothing with the refrigerators. He said, can we send our people over there with our town truck, their pickup, and then can we bring over tires of
Yeah.
refrigerators, and can we pay the up fee to you? I said, okay, what are you paying for now for a refrigerator that's been evacuated? He said, well, it's costing us $20. I said,
30.
no, I said, so they've been evacuated, and you get money for the metal. And I said, $10. I said, so they're making $10 plus we're getting paid for the metal. Yeah. Are you kidding me? I said, no. I said, that's a good fee. I said, they're evacuated out. Yep. I said, tires. How many tires? She said, oh, we get maybe 5 a week at our facility. It's $5 a piece. 2.5 times what we charge our people for them. Yep, we can do that, I guess. And they love the setup,
Good.
and we're making money off of it.
That's good.
And there's the opportunity to do that.
That's it.
And it's easy
It's
to
getting
do
a
that.
jump on
And
it.
it's the same way, so the garages up here charge $2 a
Yeah,
piece
yeah.
up here, and I
Yeah.
told them that their price is going up. they've been charging $4. I found out Barney's, we've been charging them $1. That fee's going up.
Yeah, we need to.
This year, it's going up. You don't charge somebody $4 and then bring them down to me and pay $1. I'm not here to make you a profit. So, yeah, so it's been a good number of years, and things have changed, and obviously we need to keep up with what's happening, and that's one of them, is, hey,
That's
listen,
it.
you're gonna pay your fair share.
So we've got this Burnham situation, they
Yeah.
just contacted me today.
Yeah, they're
So we've
looking.
got that off to the side, which will set up something, but we need to straighten out, you know, all the tales of these other people wandering in there, or coming up from the other direction, driving in with big loads, I've seen that, and it's like, there's nothing down there,
Yeah, some of
except
them,
other towns.
well, and some of them too, we had one the other day that did that, and wrong person again, it was Bernard, he was coming in, and he started going right upside of him and down the other, and he said, you just come from the other way, you coming from
We should
Burnham, I said,
put Bernard down by
Put
the
him down, I
But-
was just gonna say,
but
have
you
him be
know-
the
He can
gatekeeper.
take
But you
care
know
of
what?
business, no one can get in.
Yeah, have
the
him be the
guy
gatekeeper.
ran over to have breakfast, what's his name, Parsons, he just died, he owned a gun shop, went over to have breakfast over in Unity, and came back, and he had it in his truck, so we weren't open yet, he was going over to have breakfast, he said, and if you want to, he said, you tear open every damn bag that's in my truck, and I guarantee you there's nothing in there.
Well, he was a valid one.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
not
and he said-
all valid.
No, they're not, and some of them, they go the same
Oh
thing, they said,
my
listen,
God.
you know, and then it was kind of funny, and he goes over, and he's throwing cardboard, and he said, that stuff right there irritates me, he's throwing stuff in. So he starts
He's-
he goes over, throws a bag in the trash, and he goes over and he starts throwing his paper and stuff, and I'm bailing the newspaper, and I'm looking at all this stuff, and I said, Bernard, what? So this, where's all this paper coming from? It says here it's coming from Palmyra. Yeah, it's coming from the church. I said, so I looked at him, I said, so that means if I go open that bag you just throw in there, that's your trash, that didn't come from Palmyra, right? He just kind of looked at me, jumped in his truck, and Dave Whitman looked
Because
at
he
me and
goes
said,
to
oh,
the
what did
church
you hit
over
him
there,
there?
right? Doesn't he go to the, yeah, St.
Yes,
Mark's,
and,
yeah.
and I've heard that he takes bags of trash out over there and puts them in the thing, he's one of the dumb
There you go, yeah.
But, it happens.
But still.
I know
yeah.
when the old nursing home was open, the maintenance man there told me that a lot of the nurses worked out of town, and he said that they'd have to Bolster had to dump the dumpster 3 times a week. They're finding out people bringing their bags of trash in at night, the 11 to 7 crew, and they'd open up the dumpster, throw a couple bags in there because they worked there, and they were wondering why they were taking out so much trash. Well, all their employees were bringing it in from out of town because it cost them
You
money to get rid
know,
of
I
it.
can see cleaning out your car or something, you
Yeah,
know,
but when you're
it's
taking-
out of control.
Yeah, Paul Rennies, last Wednesday, Bolster come in and said, you got a bunch of stuff in here, but the girls were taking out cardboard, and they got the little car, and he said, somebody, by the time that they come back out with a car, they look in
Somebody
there, it's
put
all
stuff in there?
trash. And somebody out here told the woman that she could take it down there and put it in that Bolster dumpster, because this one was full. So, they keep it locked all the time, except when they go back and forth.
But it's not
They
supposed to
never-
be trash.
And we pulled it out, and we found a name.
There you go.
I found a name, and we did a lookup on Google, found the phone number and called, and we,
Oh, by the way, you love
but we were,
something.
yeah, we embarrassed, and I said, first of all, I said, that's a private business's dumpster. I said, that's illegal, it's against the law, you can get fined.
See, this is the thing.
And she's
like-
like, are you kidding me? Why would somebody tell me to take it down there and put it in there if they knew it was illegal? I don't wanna break no laws, I just wanted to get rid of the stuff. I said, that's the
Well,
problem.
Does somebody in the parking lot?
Right,
Somebody in the
right.
parking lot told
So
them to
what
take
is
it
her
down.
answer for this? She just wants to get rid of it, but it's everybody's
But you
responsibility
should've
but
known
hers.
better. You
Right.
should've known better.
The education piece is
Well, and
gonna
that's what I
be huge
said,
too.
and it was like, you
That
wanna
doesn't
talk about
make any sense.
last,
Right.
was it the Tuesday before Christmas? It was a
This trash
holiday,
thing has
Bolster
always
needed to
been
get,
interesting.
Yeah.
needed to get rid of some of the businesses, we understand it was a long stretch, so I sent one of my guys down by the gate. I said, do not let anybody in, when the Bolster truck comes in, let him in to bring the cardboard and the trash and shut it. Well, first 15 minutes, 5 trucks come up there. So I said, did the kid down there tell you that we were closed? He said, no, he's standing, half the gate's closed, he's standing beside the gate and he's sitting there waving at us when we're driving in. So I drove down there and I said, Mitch, you need to stop people from coming in, shut the gate
Yeah.
once Bolster comes in. When he
Yeah.
comes back down, let him out. We are closed today. I'm not staying here all day, it's a town
Right,
holiday,
right.
and we're not gonna be spending this type of
Who
money.
is
for
Mitch?
Harry Billington, that's his nickname, he's Mitch. I said, if I have to come back down here again, there's gonna be trouble. I said, because I'm not staying here, I wanna be here for a short period
Why
of time
would
next
he
year.
wave to them and let them
Just
come in?
not staying.
He didn't want to say nothing to me.
Yeah.
Well, that
Oh,
doesn't
you-
work
no.
that way.
And I said,
It's gonna have to
well, all
be
you have to do is
somebody
go
that
like that, tell them to stop.
Get
You got-
Bernie down there.
Yeah, Bernie, that's
So then, so then it's
Fodder for his
it's like
church.
11:30, I said, so I called him on his cell phone, I said, hey, listen, Bolster, this is the last one from Bolster, I said, when he goes through, come up and shut the gate, lock it.
See,
Come
who
up in
wants to
here,
be
we
the
got a
bad
couple,
guy?
we got some cardboard to do, so he comes up, they go in the building, next thing I see 4 vehicles coming up. And the first one that comes up, I'm looking, I said, who's this? I look, it's Danny Tozer, he jumps out, he had his wife with him, he runs up to me, he says, you guys open today?
Hello?
So then, of course, I see the young kid, my new employee, right? He looks at me, I said, did you lock the gate like I told you to? He's like, well, no, I just dummy locked it. But both gates were shut. And he said, yeah. So I looked at Danny Tozer, I says,
closed.
were both gates closed down there? Yeah. I said, did you take the lock off the thing? He said, yeah, well, the lock wasn't locked, so I took it off and put it back and drove up in here. I said, now you got 3 people behind you. I said, I got a question for you. I want you to answer it for me. I said, if you come to my house
Yeah.
and my door's unlocked,
Yeah.
you just walk right in?
Right. There you go, good for you.
Oh, God, he said, I'm so sorry. I said, look at there's 3 or 4 people behind you now.
Yeah, right.
I said, what you
Closed
think?
is closed.
I said, what you think when the thing is dummy locked, even if both gates are closed? I wouldn't go up, and
Right.
if I came up to the gate, saw it was closed, I
See,
wouldn't.
that's the perfect example of what's coming. People are gonna do anything that they want because it's coming and it's gonna hit them in the pocketbook. And so you've gotta be
we're
proactive.
very thankful. I'm very thankful because I don't know if you
You're-
remember back in the 80s, and I was just in high school, and I remember going from the airport down Lower Peltona, and there people would dump crap everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
It was
Oh,
bad.
yeah.
And I'll
Oh,
tell
yeah.
you, it's so clean.
Yeah.
Because of the price
But
of metal
you've got a
stuff, and now you've
huge,
got
it's a
Carson,
huge responsibility and, yeah.
and his wife, boy, they do a good job picking stuff up,
Good.
picking up. But we don't have that problem, even though there's a lot of fee systems around, people are not just going on the side of the road.
But I think also too, Catherine, look, on top of what Donnie's been saying too, is that education piece. Because it can't be just when they show up at the dump, like, oh, well, I didn't know.
And I know when Steve
We
Evans'
know.
first year was the same way.
Yeah.
We used to have people dump trash in there. Well, I told Steve, I said, we're gonna do something about that, that's littering. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I said, I'm telling you, we're gonna take this, and there was a bunch of garbage, and it was a guy in town that ran a junkyard, and I bet you Jimmy knows that Dale Wood.
Oh, yeah.
And he dumped tires everywhere in other towns. And I said, we are taking him to court. I don't care. You write the summons. I said, we're gonna go to court. So illegal dumping. We went to court, and he showed up to court, and he played, oh, no, I didn't know. And I said, the town's recycling bin. And I showed him, had pictures, and they showed him pictures. And he says, what would you want to do? I said, I would give him the maximum fine. I said, I'd make an example of we have to handle that. I said, you see all that dog crap? We have to handle that. My guys don't deserve that. And he said, Mr. Woodard, guess what? $500 is the maximum fine I get. If I could give you a $5,000 fine, I would give it to you right now, but I cannot. And he says, you will pay that by the end of the day today, or you'll be in jail with bracelets on.
Good.
He said, that is ignorant. Nobody should be human enough to
Yeah,
think that.
good.
And you know what? We had other people that were throwing stuff in, but they were ripping the names off stuff so we didn't get caught. For like a year, we never had a spot of trash.
No.
It just took one person and get in the paper, and it got around town, and people stopped.
That's it, that's it.
And that's what we have to go back to too.
So
is,
yeah,
hey, we should stop.
Yeah.
So in the office, we will fix it so that the people who, unless we get tricked, the people who don't live here and the people who come in to get a dump sticker, or the people who own property and come in to get a dump sticker cannot get the dump sticker, but can get the one-time option to
And we still
clean
have,
out
we're still gonna have a
something.
few, because I called one many years ago that I knew wasn't from town, and I just happened to know that. I just met the guy a couple of weeks earlier, and I knew he lived in Canaan. And he came over, but he had a truck with a dump sticker on it. He bought the truck off for $1,000 off somebody here. And he was- he's trying to
Sometimes you
get it.
can't get them off, but the newer ones seem to peel off.
They
pretty
do, they're
easily.
a lot better.
Yeah, and they come off when you don't want them to.
And if you peel them off, the good thing, I don't know if you've noticed those with this modern screen print, I've got it so, it's called one-time adhesive. So you pull it off, you go to put it back on.
then roll
It won't go back on. You know how the corners, like she said, if the corner rolls up, you try to put it back down. It's gonna fall off, it's already done, so you gotta get a new one.
Oh, wow.
So we'll work on that for
All righty.
verification in the office. Okay.
Does anybody want to bring up anything else? It's a little bit early to talk about opening the reuse center yet, but,
Yes, yeah. Anything for the
Well, I'm
winter,
gonna
for the winter?
let the guys know that during, when we are open, my youngest daughter takes the garbage from the reuse.
Actually,
But she's from Berlin.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's
Well,
good,
but
yeah,
you, but
yeah.
you, the guys know, it's, hey, I'm
They
across
take
the
that
way.
Okay.
And they know they can verify, because you come in and drop off the key and stuff, so so if somebody says that, obviously, I'm gonna ask you to come, well, did so-and-so come up, did you send them up here with garbage?
And my sister lives
Yes,
she
then.
really is. My sister lives in Wyndham and she is absolutely mortified that there's nothing down there. And she goes around and collects from people and she will bring stuff up to the free shop. And she make sure they weigh that.
And before, I know I brought this up to you, Catherine, but before it gets out to public, because I don't know, I heard this the other day, and I just heard it this afternoon when I bit my tongue. I told you about the snowmobile club itself, the main building is not being occupied, they're not gonna use it anymore, the snowmobile club.
They're not?
They've closed it down,
Oh.
they've shut off the water, they turned off the heat, it's
Okay.
costing too much, they said, for insurance and fuel and for what
Okay.
they're
Oh,
doing.
that's the one right
But
before the.
I don't know if there's any attachment with the
Yeah.
town because of the trailers, but that's a pretty good building.
Okay.
And the reason why- and the reason why-
That is their building
Right.
and our
And I didn't know maybe-
9-year lease.
I didn't know and I didn't know if there was a way for us to do
Okay.
something with it, because it'd be huge for use. And the reason why I said that is because I heard a gentleman tonight, right on the back parking lot, was talking about a building on Peltoma that he was gonna use for part of the museum. And I'm like,
Oh,
he was
there we
talking
go
to one
again.
of the snowmobile club members or something, that said they closed, he said, that would be a good place for us to take over and have it for a museum on Peltoma. I'm like,
It's not a good location, we don't need two museums.
yeah, so I said,
No, we've got
so I
the
didn't
depot
know.
out here that's already been done.
But one of the
They
things
wanna
I was thinking
spread out.
about
They wanna
is,
spread out, but there's only so many properties the town
if
can
we
own.
could,
Right.
if we could swing it, that might be a good place for a reuse building.
On Beltona?
Yes,
Big
but
hall,
you can
there's
go
plenty of room, you can
check
organize stuff.
Where was it?
The snowmobile club.
It's just gonna be.
Oh,
The big
that.
fishing
Oh,
game.
yeah, yeah.
They're gonna keep the garage
Yeah.
portion of
Yeah.
it and do that stuff, but I don't know if that could be something that could be a viable, like you said, a swap
And it's good
shop.
size.
I don't think this will be one like with the American Legion in which they gave the town a building.
Well, right, but the other good thing is too, is it's gonna run right up our alley, because you know, all Mrs. Food knows this, that Bernie Williams wants that building down. And I just drove by the other day and I looked over there by the telephone poles he's got there, and there's another pile of crap over there. I'm like, God, he had something else dropped off over here. Still got that car that's cut apart, still there. I asked him if I could call a record,
So
and
he
call out
wants
the junk.
recycled
He could get
building.
paid for the junk, and you leave that alone.
Well, if we're going to fence this off and use it, then that's fine,
Right.
but we can't.
That's
Yeah.
still hanging out there.
And
That's
leave the
been.
stuff, 'cause
Yeah, when that car that's cut up, they cut the roof, and I told him, because I was down, I said, this smells sharp edges, we need to get this out of here.
Talked about
so
that
we
months
can
ago.
really
about
start.
him
Oh, it
cleaning
did
it up.
years
Yeah.
now.
But he's only doing it to be Thorns. I think he wants that little building, I think.
Oh, the
he-
recycle center?
biggest
The reuse center?
building.
I think he wants that building.
The biggest thing is you got your heat,
Right.
Yeah.
plenty of space.
And you can organize things better, you can put some shelving, get some reuse shelving and
And-
stuff.
And there's
Stay
parking.
open more
You could stay
days.
open longer.
Or even
Yeah,
do a half day here and do it a couple times a week, and if again, we're gonna have to prove, we wanna prove to the taxpayers and the people that it's working. So we wanna back that up with statistics
I
and.
think it has, for the most part.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean,
Yeah.
You have your naysayers, but for the most part it has.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it, like you said, we can't even keep track of, because by the time
Right.
they even
Oh,
do it this
yeah.
time of year, I just had somebody drop a bunch of stuff off this morning, by the time I turned around, went in the building and started the forklift come out, and it was already gone, somebody had loaded it, so you can't really keep track
Well,
of
we
it.
definitely have.
Well, that's
those
it, the
spots out
statistics
there.
on those numbers that we went over the last time, what was it, 90,000 or something? We know it's at least double that,
Mhm.
because
yeah.
there
Oh,
are too
yeah.
many people that don't weigh stuff. We say, just weigh it. We need to know because it gives us those numbers. But
To watching people come out of my wood pile this year and taking trailer loads of timber that they're using to build with.
Have you guys heard that Clinton has started reuse?
Well, good.
I did not
Everybody-
know
I don't know. I can
They're open in 2 days. a
Oh,
week.
2 days a week, okay.
So they have a building that's heated.
right there.
Somewhat.
Uh,
Yeah, okay.
Well, I'll look into that. I know
No.
Andy, so I can.
One of the girls from the backside of Vernon was working with us, and she tried for 2 years to get the town manager down there. And
Yeah,
now
they've got it.
she's
Whereabouts is it, Deanna?
right at the,
It must be right at their
Down-
facility, it must be right at their facility, right
Yeah.
there by
Oh,
the
okay.
water pollution plant. so.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, I've had reuse at every town I've been at. I mean, you can even leave it so they can go in and swap stuff and do it on a, you know, like a donation basis, or just take it and, you know, you.
If it's
you're
something you
building
can
it,
use, yeah.
everything gets wiped out, people
No,
take it.
the-
Well, I just see the one down in Kennebunkport, they did they do it in the spring, they do it in the fall, and I thought that was a great idea. It's a, yard sale swap
the
meet,
big
and they
swap
paid,
thing.
they paid $10, and they had like 50 people that brought their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they pay for their table space,
Mhm.
and, which goes to the building itself. And then when they're done, about 95% of the stuff they get.
Yeah.
And then they put it in and people come back in.
And then they-
They've got the stuff right
We were
there.
gonna,
and they
we
can-
were gonna, that's the
great.
reason why we changed the ordinance, so that we could do like a big craft thing at Hot Dog Park, or like the
That's a
swamp
great idea.
thing. And then, you know, and then it was just so busy and we didn't have enough people, and, you know, so we never went through with it, but that's
Because a lot of
something that
people won't
works
pack
out
all that
good.
stuff up after
They
the
don't
2
want
days,
it.
and
Right.
they'll put it in there, hey, if you
Yeah.
guys can get rid of it and get a donation for
Then
it.
it goes to the
Go.
reuse
Yeah,
building.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, so anything else we wanna talk about?
Other than that, I just got I got some business, I got some
Okay.
top recyclers here. This is,
Yes.
they're not in any given order, I guess, but Chimbro,
Mhm.
between their cardboard, plastic, paper, and batteries that they bring to us, they brought 42,000 pounds, or 21 tons. CM Almy brought in 18.25 tons of cardboard and paper over 2019. SVH, all facilities, which is the couple of small doctor's offices and the hospital, 15.45 tons of cardboard, plastic.
That was
paper.
which one again?
That was SVH, all of the
SVH.
facilities, that's the doctor's
Wow.
offices and the hospital. And
I mean, it's just, there it is in numbers.
yeah, A. Robinson brought in 9
Oh.
tons of cardboard, just that small store up there brought in
Yeah.
9 tons of cardboard, 18,000 pounds in 2019, so
This
that
is
was,
all
That's,
cardboard?
that's
that
cardboard.
was just cardboard.
That's
How much was
just
CMR
cardboard.
again?
15, 18 tons.
18.25.
15.45.
That's
Tons.
SVH, isn't it?
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
that's right.
18 tons for
18.25 was cardboard and paper from Aldi. They pay for a dumpster.
Mm-hmm.
It's half trash, half recycled cardboard and paper. They bring it in every day, except for Sundays and Mondays when we're closed. They pay Bolster every day to pick
Almonds?
that up and haul it down. To dump a little bit of trash in the cardboard and the paper and take it back every day. I can't imagine that is probably not a small expense to
No, I don't imagine it is.
But they do a great job. I mean, you can look
Oh my
at,
God,
they
there's
always
stuff-
have, they always have more. This is what they strive for. Like when you look at volume, when you look at CMO, they always bring in twice as much recycling volume as they do
Yep, yep,
the
that's
trash.
good.
That's how you know it
Is
works.
Buzz,
Oh, yeah.
Buzz on your list?
Well, then Michael was proactive.
I've made a couple of calls. Again, they're bailing their own cardboard and
That's
stuff. And it's
And then
all
they have
done.
their little closet with boxes that people can,
Yeah, people
take,
take
which
the
is good.
boxes.
But they have a baler out back, and they're bailing theirs, and it's going back to the Scarborough main facility,
yeah.
so.
That's
That's
fine.
their big
I
one.
mentioned it to Chris is like, I know. I
The
said,
post
"Okay."
office is a big one too.
And again, getting some real numbers
Yeah,
from them,
so
which
if
they're
we're-
doing their own.
So if we're not really getting the numbers and the amount, I'm gonna have to stop getting I take all I get like thousands of pieces of junk mail.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you give a couple of donations.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm gonna take it back to the office so we can count it, cause it's, I must have.
Well, and I'm sure they
I'll
can,
tell
but
you-
again, it's one of those things, because it's, from my understanding down here, she's told me that it goes back to their
Yeah,
Hamden
yeah.
facility
Mhm.
and gets stored for a week, and then it goes somewhere else from there, but, again, so the numbers we're getting is from
Yeah.
another
We're
spot,
just
so there
not
could be a
getting-
little mixed in from another town or
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
but it's pretty accurate.
I'm gonna tell you a little thing that I did for a long time, and it finally worked. When I started getting all of the junk mail, and they want money, I just take it, fold it, put it in their return envelope, because it's usually postage paid,
Yeah.
and send it back to them. I take my name off from it. but, and then I sent it back, but before, actually, at the start, I didn't take my name off.
Wow. I
Send
used
it
to-
back.
I used to use that address that we had, and it didn't work, but
Yeah,
I could
good
try
job.
that again, and if it worked, we could publicize that. Because when the economy's better, there's more junk mail, and there's a lot of junk mail right now.
And then you know the economy's booming too, like you said, the same thing with, sometimes go upstairs in my mailbox and holy, look at the catalogs, you know.
Oh, yeah.
looking for
Oh,
people to
yeah.
Purchase something or.
Yeah, yeah, the paper recycling just,
Oh, yeah, that,
But, you know, for the year, we're doing a third less
really?
than we did last year. We've
That's
only
not
sent out
good.
we've only sent out 4 loads of newspaper this in 2019.
People aren't
Is
Other
it
than-
people are.
Yeah.
Which was, there's a
It's
lot
online.
of stuff that
Yeah,
people aren't doing
exactly.
anymore. But the biggest
Okay.
part of it that we're getting is the flyers and
And
magazines. It's not even really newspaper anymore. It's
Yeah,
more of
that's
a mix
right.
of
Yeah.
glossy paper than it is anything
And a
else.
lot of that, like at the town office, it's, you know, we get this the big box comes, and then there's 8 of them to Donnie shoot.
Yeah.
You know, like this, and we're like, what is wrong with them?
Yeah,
That they can't check, you know.
Well, you know, another CMO last year, 2 years ago, brought us 26 pallets of catalogs.
Of their,
26 pallets. It was 38,000 pounds of catalogs.
of their
Yeah,
cinema.
pretty
So I'm,
Catalogs.
All
like,
the
what is
churches
all-
are turning away.
So I'm like,
Wow.
so we had a little discussion a couple of years ago. I said, this can't be cheap
No.
for them to print their catalogs.
Yeah,
And they figured it out. It was like $36,000 that we and it took us all year to mix it in
Yeah.
with the
Yeah,
newspaper
yeah.
to get it out. It's like it's taking up a lot of space. I don't.
Yeah.
But why would you have that many made if you're only giving out a quarter of what you?
Yeah.
And another one was Walpole. Walpole last year brought us 13 pallets.
Yeah.
of
Wow.
catalogs.
Nice catalogs.
Boss Off Ballet, every time we have
$5.
programs printed for the performance and we have half.
They brought us, I can't remember, 110,000 catalogs at 54 cents a piece. They said they had them made. That was like 13.85 tons or something crazy like that of catalogs. I said, I think that I'd have less catalogs made up. That's just wasting money.
Buy them.
But then they
you know.
complain about spending $5 on a dumpster to get rid of their trash. You know, it's like, wow.
Yeah,
that's a lot of
see,
money.
everybody used to take those, but now it's online, and we have to change our thinking.
Yeah.
Just like
Well,
I do, because you
that's-
just
yeah.
don't need all this stuff anymore.
Right, exactly.
Like when we make the annual reports, we make a quarter of what we used to.
Mhm. Or, you know, if you want one, you ask for one,
Mhm.
and you print them up if you have to, but, yeah.
All right, so did you have any others, or those are the
No,
ones that you
these
have?
are the ones
that
that
you
I
have
that I have that
Oh,
report.
that's-
Those
yeah,
are the
that's
four.
pretty
Them are the
interesting.
Them are the 4 top ones. There are obviously some
So
small.
what does Innovative Specialties bring to you? Cardboard? Yeah, the nitro. They don't understand that they can bring you stuff.
Oh, they've already got a tongue lashing. One of the guys that's on my fire department in Detroit. They took a 50-yard dumpster, bolstered it, and took it to Perk. And Perk called me a couple of weeks ago.
Mhm.
He said, "Hey, listen, Gary Stacy, just want to let you know, Bolster's in here is trying to charge a 50-yard dumpster full of flat cardboard to the town of Pittsfield." I said, "Absolutely not." He said, "That's what I figured. That's why the scale house." Obviously, the guy on the floor called him. He said, "I don't know. There's a lot of risk. It's all flat cardboard."
Can
It's
you
a
talk to Chad?
Chad, I'm gonna go out and talk to him.
And I
anyway
did
because he's-
mention to him about his cardboard. I said, you must have a lot of cardboard. And he said, you know, I gotta take care of this and do it a different way.
And
He's
I'm
just
sure
busy.
at 15 tons, at $80 a ton, that probably bolstered his back, charged him. I'm sure, I'm just giving it a few days, a few weeks to give him a through the roof kind of thing, because I know that's probably, and I told Lee Myrick, who's on my fire department, I said, "What's he, crazy?"
Well, see, what's
You know
happening?
what he just did? They had a whole bunch of aluminum scrap. Lee had to tell him. They were going to get a dumpster and give it to Bolster. I said, "Give it to him, it's 45 cents a pound."
Yeah.
They're
was
too,
gonna say,
they're too busy, they're overwhelmed with orders, so
They
they
are.
need somebody to help them. Because right
They are
now,
busy.
they're just, you know, spending more money than they need to. If they've got, you know, that much trash, that's fine, but if it's recyclable stuff, it should be
And it's not just that, they
recycled.
just
Whoever gets the money
And
for
he
it.
just, and the reason why I know from Lee is because he was talking, because he called me on a OSHA regulation about the 36 inches, they work against the trailer. He wanted to know, we have scaffolding, do we have to have fall protection on if this is in front of the trailer, and if we fall, we're gonna fall against the trailer, do I have to have a front rail? And I said, no, and I said, talking about that, how much? aluminum and stuff you guys have for scrap and stuff. He says, why, are you looking for some pieces of it? I said, no. I said, just wondering, because I said, that's, you know, recyclable metal, if you guys want to bring it to me or whatever. So, we discussed giving it to Bolster, give the dumpster to Bolster. I said, at 45 cents a pound, I said, he fills that up, he's gonna make, you know,
Yeah.
a couple $1,000s off that.
Is
Maybe
it-
you guys ought to think about doing it on your own.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
it doesn't matter who they give it to, as long as they make you know, an efficient thing, so they don't end up paying, you know.
Oh, I'd love to have that, to put that in
Yeah,
a
put that-
dumpster, get a
yeah.
couple of metal dumpsters. I'd even set one up there for them for
So I've
free.
Yeah,
been
for
through
that.
their facility recently, and it's just packed with, I mean, they've
They
got
are
all
busy.
kinds of pieces. They don't have time to think of the most efficient way.
And who's this
Yeah.
again, I'm sorry?
Chad's down,
Down.
it's the new
Oh.
nitro trailers in
Okay.
the
It's just,
Okay.
they're overwhelmed with orders,
Yeah.
their work is so quality. They're the only ones that are making certain types of trailers in the state of Maine.
Oh, they're more.
And now they're making
Wow, that's great.
specialty
Then
boxes
they got
and
other
stuff for
things, they have
trucks. and
competition,
Oh, wow.
there's several
Okay.
places for competition for some things, but other things, they're the only one that does it. And they could have, you know, like double the amount of orders, they just can't take
They
care
can't
of
do
this.
it, yeah.
So they're gonna have to build another building.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the way he's brought this
That's why
lot.
we sold them 4 lots to build.
He wants another building, he can't, he said, I need another
Can't keep
building,
up
at
with
least
it.
this big, if not
So
bigger.
this is why they can't shop around to figure out how to take care of all
Yeah, I
that.
can talk
So they
about it,
need
because I do
some
know
help.
Lee, and I think Mike Havey's.
That's a
boys working up
win-win,
there in the
sell it,
shop,
yeah,
too, so.
that's a
No, they're a
win-win.
really good employer, and, you know, they're employing people in manufacturing, and you can't really find much manufacturing.
People driving from all over the place to go to
To
work
just-
there,
yeah.
from what I
Oh,
understand.
yeah.
Regional.
You can't get enough-
Coming
you can't get-
Waterville.
Yeah, you can't get enough people. He's
Yeah.
even advertising in the Portland area.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's hard to get people now.
I know, I worked, like I said, 13 days in a row before I had yesterday off, and I
Yeah,
had town
because
council
you're supposed
meeting.
to be retired.
I'm supposed to be retired, and they call me all the time.
Because there's no.
Tell me about it.
So what about Hancock Lumber, what do they do?
Hancock Lumber deals with Mike Bolster direct.
Okay,
So
that's okay.
they pay for their stuff or whatever they do, they got an arrangement, they take care of it because they,
Yeah, that's fine, but
They got
can we
upset.
get their numbers?
oh yeah, I can go down there, I know Dave down there,
Okay.
so they're very good.
So they must be a big recycler to get an award.
Either they're recycling or they may even be burning in their biomass, I don't know.
Well, can we count that?
We always did.
Okay.
Yeah, anything that goes into biomass,
I would
whatever
think
it's
you
fuel, it's just like when we did the wood chips.
Yeah,
We got
so
that.
the schools must be on here too as top recyclers, oh, they should be, and the hospital.
And the
Hospital's already
yeah,
here.
Yeah, the schools is, it's one of those things that it's a guesstimate at best, but
Mhm.
I've got their numbers, I should have thrown them down there.
That's okay, so we'll have,
Write
you're
that down.
gonna go talk to Innovative Specialties, and anytime we have a new business that has a lot of recyclables, we're just gonna have to go see them so they know, because they'll be overwhelmed in the beginning. Running a business is, you know, it's a lot of work. Hancock Lumber, we're gonna get stats, MCI, MSAD 53, because I would think that they would be part of this.
Mhm.
And then we can look down through the business list to see if we got anybody else, but that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Mhm.
And then Innovative, we're not 9.
You said buds.
Buds, yeah.
Let's see if I can-
Innovative of Nitro, Hancock Lumber, MCI, MSAD 53. So then who else do we have?
Dysart's has got a split.
Dysart's? Yeah.
Dysart's has got a split can.
You got your A.E. Robinson.
I'm trying to
yeah.
think here, who the bigger ones.
How does Richie's do?
I was gonna say, is there a dumpster there?
No, he brings his own, Dick brings it
Okay,
up.
he
Okay.
takes care of it himself, yeah, okay, that's fine.
Just trying to think,
The
Walpole.
how did, yeah,
Almey's, is
Walpole,
Almey's on that list? No, oh, okay, wait.
Yeah, Walpole.
Mhm.
because we
They bring
wanted,
pallets.
we wanted to get what they have for recyclables for their tonnages, and then the highest ones would get an award at the council.
Oh, I
at the
see,
council
gotcha,
meeting.
these are the
The
business.
banks, the two
On the banks.
Banks, okay, yeah.
I'll talk to them.
Mercedes Bank. I never thought I'd have a Bar Harbor Bank in town.
You never know.
You never
Hey,
do.
it's a funny age we're living in here.
It
Yeah,
is.
don't hold your breath.
Is Pennywise considered a major recycler?
We would be under the reuse category.
Yeah.
Right, that's true.
Yeah.
Yep. Reuse, resale.
How do the restaurants do? Because as we know, they're using, the major recyclers using our
Now both of them
facility.
are, because they're in the battle, one gets to use it, so the other one's deciding they're gonna use it too.
They're probably
That's
making
right.
recyclables,
Vittles
but we
and-
don't know.
They take up a good portion of the
Yeah, they
cardboard
do.
then.
Oh, Rennie's.
Right.
Yeah.
Rennie's Industry.
Yeah.
I'm sure there must be some, oh, Kleinsmith, what do they do? I'm
They
sorry, I
bring
don't
them-
mean
they
to
bring
drag
them
this out. Okay.
Dale brings that.
So it would be nice to recognize all these major ones.
So what I'll do is I'll just leave this off when I do the report for now.
Yeah, yeah.
They were,
so we
they
can
were,
straighten
they
it
were
out.
managing the building the last time I knew, but I guess they didn't, Chico didn't buy the Edwards building.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, because I knew they were going through they
There's
were
a-
kind of managing it at
There's
first.
a possible tenant, but it's gonna take a while. It would be fantastic for the town. It's a long-range plan, but it would be really good. Huge manufacturing.
We got some stuff coming.
Good.
But
It's working on
it
it.
takes a while to get patents and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause they-
How about
I-
SAS? That property is, I wish I had
We're in the process of talking to people about that now, right?
Yes.
I'd love to see that.
That's too
building
bad,
used.
that old brick portion over there, I'm just,
Yeah.
That
if
would
somebody
make
doesn't do something secure,
condos,
and eventually something's gonna
businesses,
happen.
weddings,
yeah,
that would be a
shit.
beautiful,
It is, it's a
beautiful
sad
place.
situation. We brought 14 deals to the trustees and nothing was acceptable. And then they said that the town could have it, they would give it to the town. So we said we need to do our due diligence, and that would mean doing the brownfields assessment, because if we didn't, and we're in the chain of custody of some sort of item that shouldn't be there, then the town would be responsible for the cleanup. But if we were not in the chain of custody and did the study and proved what was there previously, then we could go get, hundreds of thousands of dollars of grants or what we needed up to that,
Yeah.
up to what we needed.
Just the windows.
And then, at the same time they told us that, they listed it with an auction company, after they told us we could do it. And so then we found out, because I happened to call up the auction company to find out what property they had in town, that they, and then I found out it was the SAS facility. I'm like, all right, I've had enough of this. So we had figured I had spent over 2,100 hours on all the deals and everything. So that was the end of that. The council and I said, no more time. Yeah.
That's
So
a
it's
lot of time.
just falling apart.
Yep.
It's too bad.
Eventually it'll shake itself out.
Yeah, because they'll get so bad they can't have
That's-
insurance. or-
Well, at some point of that, and then there's gonna be the point where the town's gonna have to come in and say it's a dangerous building, you need to get it down.
Yeah, this is just a sad
So why not just give
situation.
it to the town?
And it's too bad, because like you said, that's gonna be a huge cost, why let someone do that?
Why
Because
let
some
it
people,
go-
some
I don't
people do
understand
that.
that.
They do it with their own properties, their own houses, homeowners will do the same thing.
So I think
They
we
walk
got a
away.
good list. I'll go down through the business list and see if I see anybody else that might need to be on there. I can't think the churches have enough stuff.
I know that,
Mm.
Family Dollar goes through,
Oh,
here,
Family Dollar,
they go
that's
through
right, yeah.
Pine Tree, so I can talk to
Yeah,
somebody there. and
Family
see.
Dollar, yeah.
Subway, they go through, they have
Okay.
Pine Tree does them too, I guess.
Okay, thank you.
Dunkin' Donuts,
Dunkin',
Oh,
obviously,
yeah.
you didn't think of that.
they bring in every week, they bring in a big dumpster cardboard.
Can you just imagine what they have, yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you. This will be great. Then what we'll do, once we find out what their amounts are, we'll contact them, we'll try to arrange for each one to have somebody there so that, they just don't come and it doesn't look good,
Right.
or they don't get recognized.
It's funny though, when you think about going back 10, 15 years, we never would have thought about this.
No, no.
Because it was just thrown out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no more out to throw it to anymore.
I know.
And I will update you that if you see the revenue portion is bad.
Oh.
The markets, at best, are the weakest they've been in
Flat,
in
yeah.
2 decades.
Really?
Yeah.
Just sold a load of cardboard for $24 a ton. I don't remember prices that well. When I first got to work, and it was $5 a ton, and everybody told us we were crazy to do it. And, but we had the avoided cost, and now it's
What's,
tough, and the problem that's driving the cardboard market down is all of the big single streamers. So remember we talked about if you throw your glass in with your cardboard, in with your paper, in with your tin, and they crush it all together, that they can't segregate it back very well. a lot of the prices for the corrugated and the paper and the fiber has gone down because they're so contaminated. And I said, but I'm not sending you contaminated, we know,
Yeah.
let's just,
Yeah,
no,
it's just
nobody
the
wants,
luck of
none
the
of the
draw.
buyers wanna
Yeah.
take a chance because they
And
get.
China's not taking our stuff anymore.
No,
either.
and you ought to see some of the messes. Some of these places that bought the material, that after they bought it, it's cost them twice as much to get rid of it back into the solid waste, and they just wasted their money. So they're very particular. Paper goes to Huhtamaki,
Uh-huh.
and the paper there right now, I think it's 31. And that's the lowest it's been in a long time. Usually you get 50 to 80 for that.
Wow.
Plastics, they usually get 30 to 40 cents a pound. It's going for 6 cents a pound right now. So it's not good, but as long as we can keep it on the plus side,
Yeah.
that's $24 a ton that we're getting, and we're saving the 67 or 65 going the other way. So there's a net gain of 80. And right now, I figured out it's costing us about $41 to do it. So we're still in the plus.
We're still on the plus.
It's still a good thing to
Do
do.
it right.
Yeah.
So I will contact MCI beyond the working on the Earth Day and Arbor Day things and ask them if they have any students there that would like to interview you on recycling, reuse, and
Yep.
reuse.
We can do that.
And if not, I think Jane would do it, and if not,
I know Jane would do it.
She'd do it.
I think she will do it. And they did a good job, their videos were very good.
Well, and you know, that's the other thing is that maybe not only to interview Donnie, but maybe having the kids come and talk about what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because
Sure.
this
Do it
Greta
all-in-one.
Thunberg is
Well,
setting
what
the
can-
world on
what-
fire.
Do you want to see, is there something, you got an idea that where we can.
These kids are, what is
collaborate
it, every
together?
Friday? Is it every Friday globally, they're like going out of school and they're protesting? I mean, they're serious about, this is the world that they're gonna inhabit.
Oh, I can't even imagine, you know,
I-
20 years.
And it's the same way, I understand. It's just like I got in an argument the other day out at dinner. A guy that's been friends with me forever, Matt New, he's worked for Ekman as a buyer for 2 decades.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh, this, I disagree, this, and I said, you know something? He's talking about that Pacific trash heap.
Oh,
Do you know that 99.5% of all of that plastic in the trash heap come from 2 rivers, one in Africa and one in China? So what do you think us going from plastic straws to paper straws is going to do for it? It ain't us. The problem is we're way ahead of some of these other countries, and we're putting such a burden. We're trying to save the, just like we do everywhere else. We're world police.
We
We're
try to
giving them all
save
our
the
money to
world.
try to help them,
I know.
and we're doing the same. We're doing
but
way better
yeah,
than other
but
countries.
we can lead though, because we have.
Well, we
have
need to
the
start
ability.
doing, we need
Yeah.
to start
We have
forcing
the
this on
ability.
other countries.
Oh,
Say, you do it, you're not
oh,
gonna get,
no,
you're not gonna
there's-
get any of our
there's
aid if
no
they're gonna
question.
keep dumping plastic in your river and
Well,
putting it out
that's
in our
where we
ocean.
have to go to the top and we have to say, okay, but when you get people at the top that don't even believe that the climate is changing, I mean, look, ask the people in Australia. Holy
Already,
smokes.
Yeah,
I've got
very
to,
close. Back and forth, this earth has been going back and forth healing itself for the last, who knows, million years. but-
We got lots of projects here.
yes.
Yeah.
I really like this, the businesses. So when do we think we can have the statistics so we can?
I will
contact
get them, I will get on them tomorrow and start working on, hopefully by next week.
Okay.
I'll work on them extra hard to try to get people to get me.
So
some
we
money.
thought originally the first meeting in February.
Yeah.
Does that seem
Yeah,
workable? Because we'd have to file the Wednesday prior.
that's fine.
Okay.
So the next recycling committee meet would be.
Second Wednesday in February?
Do you want the second Wednesday or the first?
Okay, they've been the first, but you
Let's do
can
it.
have the second.
Oh, makes,
That's fine.
but you know what,
Second
that's,
actually good.
you know, the only problem with that is it's probably
And
school
the calendar
vacation week.
disappeared.
Oh,
I'll be right
right
back.
Yeah, this is the second.
I got a calendar. Good.
Okay.
February, the second would be the 12th.
Let her grab the calendar, see what she's got going here, and then we'll get, she's got a meeting to go to at 6. Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing to me, and,
Just so we can look at continuity here,
yeah.
so that it works for all the.
We had to do it on the second week, the first in January because of New Year's and all that.
Yeah.
If we can meet, if you want to meet
The 5th?
the 5th, that's 3 weeks from now, you guys, are you agreeable with that, Catherine?
Or if we could shift to the second.
Second is good for me.
Second is
If we do the
better.
first and third, because I've got a fire meeting and.
Are you guys good with the 12th?
Yep.
Okay, February 12th at 4. Is 4
That way
okay?
We get out of the whole Usually people all have their meetings the first week.
Yeah.
And that's what we do the first is,
And that's your 10?
all of our work.
Well, thank you folks for coming.
Not a problem, this is really
And
good.
it's been very helpful, and thank you, Donna, you're a big help, I appreciate it very much, so.
I want to
appreciate it.
You got a team of people that you're training? for
I-
future?
I'll tell you
I
right
mean,
now,
seriously.
I'll tell you right now that I am,
So February 4.
by default, because we had a guy get injured, but
February
I'll tell you right now, I
Yeah.
put Dave Whitman
For
as
the,
my second.
For the next meeting.
Dave Whitman is a
I
very,
mean, this is a
very
huge
smart.
industry.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he's very
Huge,
smart.
okay.
He's very articulate,
Mhm.
and the kid listens, and
Yep.
he's learning a
Well, he's
lot.
been there.
Yes, he's been there 11 years now, so
We
he's
gave him
learning.
a promotion.
No,
I mean,
he's
this
right
is
on
gonna
it.
be a
And
huge
he's
business
learning a
coming
lot, and he's picking up a lot, and, you know, it's just kind of funny, we talked about this last week, and I said, oh, it's about time you start. We had a forklift that wasn't starting, and we had a machine that wouldn't work. I said, make it happen. He
There you
went,
go.
this is gonna prove to me that you know what you're doing. Use your head, don't panic, think about what you're gonna do, get your logical steps down, figure out what you're gonna do. The kid did awesome. I said, see, you've got it in you. So I said, now we've got to get you into some of these little DEP classes, some of these
He's
licensing
a very
classes.
good worker.
And he's very conscientious about stuff, and he treats people fairly, and he talks, he's got a good rapport with customers. I'll tell you,
Very pleasant.
Very
He would
nice.
be a good replacement for him.
Well, and I'm not saying it for that, I'm just
No, I
saying, the
mean, that's what I
information that
kinda-
you have.
Well, that's what Matt was
you
getting
bring,
at.
Quite a few years.
This is, and there are courses that are starting up in colleges now too, as far as recycling and reuse and all of this. I mean, it's unbelievable,
I just-
it's unbelievable.
If you knew half the calls I get, that people.
Yeah, well,
People,
you-
I told Catherine, they always try to lure me away. I just had a call
Oh, okay,
a
'cause
month
our
ago from
meeting
Southern New
officially
Community
done.
College, wanted me to come
There
down
you
and
go.
start teaching fire science in college. Oh, why do you do that? I said, don't take this the wrong way.
You just
But
have
I
to-
said, me and Portland don't get along very well.
First of all, they'd have to
I-
pay for your parking.
Yeah,
Good luck
I
with
said,
that.
that's what I said, me and Portland don't get along very well. And I said, I could see myself doing it, but no, not right now.
So
All right, so officially the meeting, not to push,
Yeah.
but I want to go.
Yep, we're out.
Yeah, thank you folks.
Not a
Not
problem.
trying to be rude here.
No, that's fine.
No,
Thank you for coming.
I gotta back up there, close things up.
Yeah, that's right.